How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another live stream repair. Today's gonna be just a little different. I've been experiencing some issues with my HomePods. Some of them just randomly stop playing music for a few minutes and then they'll start playing music again. I've ultimately determined that this is most likely a software issue, and honestly I've been dealing with this for the past few years, so I've recently just gotten pretty fed up with it and I contacted Apple. They escalated it to tier 2 and they sent me a specific profile to install on my device that should gather logs, and they asked me to run the HomePods for a few hours and write down every time that it happens and to reproduce the issue at least 3 times. So I've got them still going in the background, as you can hear. Let me see if I can turn it down a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna get these HomePods that were sent into us fixed up, and I apologize for the music going on in the background. As I said, I'm doing some testing that Apple asked for based on my issues with the software on them. So we're just gonna let those run in the background and take the copyright strikes, and just jump into our repairs. So first up is John's HomePod with no power. So here it is. Let's go ahead and plug it into some power and see what we've got for symptoms. Alright, yes indeed, no signs of life. And we've got about 6 watts of power being pulled from the wall. So we've most likely got the common shorted diode on the amplifier board here. Let's crack it open and find out what's going on from the inside. There we go. We were charging up our screwdrivers. Let's get that out of the way. And speaking of, let's go ahead and take out the screws for our display. Get this display out. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love listening to music while working. Gets me in the zone. this charged up too. Let me find another iPhone cable floating around here. Here we go. Oh, and of course that takes USB, so switch that out. There we go. Let's get our basket screws taken out. Get this ribbon cable detached. And then we can begin the pry. Yeah, give it a bounce. Give it a bounce. HomePod, please. Hey, boss. Can I have a HomePod? This one's being a little stubborn. Oh, that just came right out on us. Let's see here. Come on. Beautiful. Excellent. Just get some of that extra adhesive off of here. Is this powering on yet? No. Let's get that woofer out of here. Do our usual checks on that guy. Voice coil looks alright. Feels nice and smooth. And it smells great. So that is a happy subwoofer. That ribbon cable through. We'll take these upper gasket rings out. Got that internal power connector removed from the power supply, so let's unscrew that and take it out. Yeah, these screws are no match for the Chungus. Got that power supply out. Let's disconnect the ribbon cable from the amp down there. And then we'll take the screws out for our amplifier here. Where did that come from? Power connector's fine. Ah. So looks like the connector for the subwoofer there broke apart while we were taking it out. So I have got a plethora of these cables from, busted subwoofers. We'll go ahead and replace that before we put it back together. Okay, amplifier out, HomePod shell to the side. Let's get up close with our amp board here and see if our most common culprit is what took this HomePod's life. I'm gonna zoom right on into that roasty looking Schottky barrier diode there. And we're gonna grab our multimeter, set that to continuity test mode. There you go. Do a quick test. So I want to see that around 0. That's there we go. All right. Any probe on the bottom, any probe on the top, and that diode is dead short. Let's go ahead and replace that with a brand new diode. All right, dead diode be gone. Let's grab a new one. that diode prepped for the board. Excellent. Flux up our board. Place the diode. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just don't touch any pads where they shouldn't go. And the flow of solder will line this up perfectly for us. Oh, goodness. There we go. Oh, goodness. There we go. Alright, this thing is still turning on. Let's get that diode on there. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go ahead and put our parts together here and see if this board turns on now. Board cable. All right, let's see if this power's on. Booyah. Okay, let's see if we've got any severe popping or DC offset here. No, everything seems to work, and we've only got around 1 millivolt of DC offset here. So those are excellent results. Looks like everything is fixed on here and ready to go back together. Hi, can you pretend for the next one that it is some new problem? No power and farts are becoming a bit boring. Well, Mars, you're actually in luck because Clay's HomePod up next here doesn't seem to have the same issues that we normally have here on the channel. Theirs pops every 30 seconds only when in standby mode. As soon as he wakes it up, it seems to work fine for him. So that one might be interesting. We'll see here after this, after we get this one put back together. We shall see. I've also got like 8 other HomePods that I've bought just for myself to get fixed up. I've been saving them for like a super big, like all-day stream on a weekend day or something. And I do plan on giving away one of those. I need to come up with a good way to do that, though. But stay tuned for that, because you'll, any one of my subscribers will have a chance to win a repaired HomePod. And for anyone who's curious about the test in progress, I've been dealing with an issue, a sporadic issue on, doesn't matter which HomePod, it happens to any random one of them. But the music in one of the HomePods in a stereo pair will just randomly stop playing. The other one will work fine. It's not a hardware issue, at least it seems, because the HomePod still makes sounds when I pull Siri up on it, but it just stops playing music. And well, what really triggered it was last night. Apple released, you know, the OS 16.1 for the HomePods, and I decided to give everything as fair of a chance as possible. I updated all of my HomePods to 16.1. That went without a hitch. Everything updated without a problem. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna hard reset all of them, remove them all from my home, and then start from scratch again, just in case there's any sort of weird HomeKit issues. So I did that, and it took a couple hours to remove everything and reset everything to factory defaults, and then I left all of them unplugged from power until I went to bed and woke up this morning. And then I only plugged the HomePods in my office back into power and set those ones up. And within about 30 minutes of playing music, one of them started dropping the music again. So I was like, okay, I've about had enough of this. And I contacted Apple, got sent straight to Tier 2 support, and spoke with a nice lady who provided a debug profile for my iOS device that will collect logs. And she wanted me to try to reproduce the issue at least 3 times and take note of the date and time that it happens. So I've got the HomePods in my office going in the background there, just to try to reproduce the issue for them. It's already happened twice, actually. I've only had to play music for 15-20 minutes, and it's already happened twice, and I wrote down the times. So we're getting close. One way or another, I told them, I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is a software issue. Please help me get this fixed. I will do anything you guys want to help you get this fixed. I offered to send a HomePod into them. I've offered to work with one of their engineers and just take one apart on the phone with them if need be. And of course they said no, don't do that. Yeah, she said download this profile to your phone, play some music, get the issue to reproduce at least 3 times and write down the times, and then let me know. So yeah, we got a little background music going for us today. I'm wondering what the algorithm will do with your videos since every other video has the word fart in the title. Oh, Mars, I thought about that, like doing a giveaway of a broken one and sending it to someone. Actually, I think I've just decided what I'll do. So we'll do a live repair stream with just the broken ones that I bought for myself. And we will, of course, we'll do a giveaway. We'll do 2 different giveaways for the one repair stream. We'll give away one that's broken. We'll diagnose it for someone, but we won't do any fixing. So they'll have a chance to win and fix their own. And then we'll do a giveaway for one that we fixed. So that way someone who wants a chance to win one without either being able to do the repairs or wanting to worry about that. People have options. But I'm really looking forward to that. No clue on when we'll have that giveaway stream, but we will be having it very soon. I've got the parts, I've got the pods, I just need the time. So, anyone who's subscribed will have a chance to win either one. Hey John, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. I saw your message before it got removed one way or another, but yes, this is your pod. Here it is. We got it all fixed up already, actually. We're just throwing it back together now. It ended up just being a shorted diode on the amplifier, and it only had 1 to 1.5 millivolts of DC offset after the repairs. So it's looking fine and dandy and ready for service again. Alright, for our subwoofer connector here, let me grab another one. Here we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab our soldering iron. And I actually found that it's easiest to go in from the back side to replace these cables and desolder them. Just like that. We'll get the other one from the other side. Ooh, hot. There we go. Old cable be gone. New cable be got. Oh no. Get in there. And stay. Come on now, get in there. There we go. Alright, is that nice and in there? Looks like it. Let's go ahead and really quick, we're just going to double check that this has a good connection here. We will use just some thin wire here. Just going to pop that in there. And then I'll grab my 9-volt battery. Awesome. So we've got a good connector back on here that's not broken, and it's soldered in and got a great connection to the speaker itself. So we can put this back in now. Ooh, almost forgot. Let's put the gasket in for our ribbon cable here, because that sits under the woofer. There we go. Then we can put our subwoofer with its fresh new cable in. Come on, there we go. Beautiful. Why isn't this charging it? Okay. If you guys hear any HomePods crackling in the background, yell at me, because I'm trying to keep track of exactly what times it happens, since they're asking for it. Alright, come here, Big Bertha. Good evening, Robin. How's it going? Come on. Let's double check those. I did the Logitech Brio. It looks impressive. 4K 30 FPS. I could find a couple of used ones on eBay for around 60 to 80 bucks shipped. I was really tempted. I almost clicked buy it now and snagged one, but I'm gonna wait and see if anybody on eBay throws one up for just a little cheaper. Because if I end up not liking it or it doesn't work exactly the way I need to, I don't want to spend too much money on it. But I'm just cheap like that. Why'd you stop? Why'd the music stop? Yeah, and like my iPhones are working perfectly fine for me right now, so I'm not in a huge rush to upgrade them. But when the opportunity arises, I will snag myself one and see if it works for what I want. Looking at well, I think it was like Adam IT or that channel that you recommended. If he's using that specific camera in his newer repair videos, I am thoroughly impressed at the quality and how far in he can zoom while it still looks good. But I only briefly watched. Didn't have a whole lot of time to check him out. For his face, he's using a cheaper one, yeah. Interesting. That is, I'm thoroughly impressed at the quality. So maybe maybe I won't be so patient and grab one. Yep, so basically, during my entire period of ownership using HomePods, I've always noticed that one of them in a stereo pair, it's no specific HomePod, it could be any HomePod throughout the whole house in a stereo pair. One of them will just randomly drop out for an undetermined amount of time, and then they'll just magically come back and start playing the music again. And, well, after spending a few hours last night updating them all to the latest OS, removing them all from my home, hard factory resetting them, basically giving them the cleanest slate possible and the fairest chance, I still continue to experience issues this morning when I plugged them in and set them up within 30 minutes of playing music. So I got pretty fed up with it, and I contacted Apple and I said, hey, I'm willing to work with you guys and do whatever it takes to help you figure out what is going on here and provide either a software fix or I need to know what hardware is failing in here so we can fix it or figure out more information about this. And they provided me a debug profile that I installed on my iPad. And they said, go ahead and install this to your iPad and try to reproduce the issue with the music dropping out at least 3 times. And write down the date and time that it happens. And let us know once you've done so, and we'll take a look at the logs. And just in the past half hour, it's already happened 2 more times. So I noted those times. We're just waiting for it to happen 1 more time on us. And then I'll be able to hit them back up and say, hey, this actually happened pretty pretty quickly. It's actually, within that half an hour, it's happened on 2 different HomePods. Both are in 2 different stereo pairs. So hopefully, I'm fingers crossed here that we will be able to identify a software issue and a fix for that. I'm hoping that they don't just tell me, yeah, your HomePods are broken, hardware issue, out of warranty, good luck, kid. I was really adamant with them that I would be willing to do whatever it takes, even pay them to do diagnostics on one that's experiencing these issues. If it is indeed a hardware failure, please just tell me exactly what it is. That's all I'm asking for, either a software fix or the diagnosis for a hardware issue. So, 2 out of 3 times it's already reproduced. We're just waiting for it to happen 1 more time on us, and we've just got them playing in the background as we listen to them for any of them to drop out or start crackling on us again. Alright, let's get this top cover put on, and then we'll move on to our slightly more interesting repair here today. Excuse me. Oh, one tip, if you're heating up your top glass to stick it back down and you still have the protective film, you see this little plastic thingy here? When you're holding it and heating it up, go ahead and just take it with your thumb and hold it back. So that way when you're heating it up with your gun, you don't heat that little piece of plastic up and cause it to wrinkle up. It still keeps the completely original look. with that top plastic. I've got a couple of mine that still have the top plastic on them, and I don't plan on ever taking it off. Not sure why. It's just a preference. The facade of some sort of protection on the top cover, I suppose. I'm convinced that my issues are software, because whenever the music drops out on a given HomePod in a stereo pair, well, there's a few observations I've made. First of all, it could happen to any HomePod in the whole house, and I've got a few dozen of them, and there's no way that the same hardware issue is occurring on every single HomePod of mine. Second of all, when the music drops out on a given HomePod, if I tap and hold the top of it to prompt Siri, the Siri lights come up. I hear the chime because I've got play sound when Siri is enabled. So I hear the prompt, I see the lights respond, but the volume buttons actually turn off when the music drops out. The other HomePod in the stereo pair continues playing fine, and a lot of its the symptoms are pointing towards a software issue. So I was really adamant with them, and they seem to be at least doing their best to take me seriously and try to diagnose what's going on here. Alright, let's plug this into power and see what we've got. Drum roll, please. Booyah! We got power. And it looks like we got a little bit of smudge of dirt on here. Not sure if that was from us or not. Let's go ahead and clean it up. Just gonna grab a Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol. Make that nice and clean again. And once that dries, you won't be able to tell. Or who knows, maybe the box got it dirty. In any case, it's easy to clean the mesh on these for most stains and such. Let's see here.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Very good.
I'm having trouble connecting.
And the volume buttons light up nice and almost even here. Let's see.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Show me the lights.
I'm having trouble.
All right. Looking great. So, John's HomePod here is all fixed up and ready to go back home. Let's set that to the side. And we'll break out, let's see, Clay's HomePod here with a slightly more interesting issue. This one has got constant popping every 30 seconds in standby mode. While it's awake, he says that it works fine. So let's take a listen here and see what's going on. Got myself a beverage. Alright. So I don't hear any clicking right now.
I'm having trouble connecting to the...
And it's not clicking right now either. But it does have a fairly loud popping sound every time we turn it on or turn it off. So let's go ahead and crack this open. See if there's anything obvious going on inside. do I repair as main work or do I do other work as well? This is just what I do in my free time. My day job is actually a sales engineer for a software company. So I pretty much spend most of my early morning, late afternoon hours supporting a handful of guys on our sales team with troubleshooting or setting up or demoing our software, or assisting with integrating new hardware with our software. And I've been there for about 10 years now. I would love for this to be the way that I make a living, but we're not quite there yet. I do get to work from home though, so that's really nice. I can basically just roll out of bed and into my office and start the day right nice and early. And then once I've put my hours in, busted my butt there, then I grab my HomePods for the day's repairs, and we set the stream up and hop over to here. I like how it's all set up right now, because I mean, obviously, since I don't, rely on this to make a living, I don't have to charge so much. Especially for a product that pretty much no one else offers repairs for. I'm more than happy to do this for a reasonable price for people without trying to gouge them. And one of the main goals here is giving somebody an alternative to paying Apple the $300 to replace their speaker out of warranty with another one that's going to have the same problem. But anyways, being competitive in the pricing and making it affordable, not just for people, as an option compared to Apple's $300 replacement fee, but also for people that are overseas and they want to ship these things internationally. Shipping costs can get quite expensive, and I could easily justify and charge more than $100 for repairs, but then you're talking about around $100 to $200 for shipping both ways for some international folks, and at that point you're pretty much better off buying the replacement from Apple. So doesn't cost a whole lot of time or money in parts. I just charge enough to make it worth my time. And to not go broke in the off chance you need to send it back for any sort of warranty repairs. To me, that is. Because my warranty, I'll cover shipping both ways for the next 6 months. So long as it's my work or parts that failed. If you damaged it or other external factors, we'll figure it out. But I try to keep things cheap and reasonable for people. You've already spent enough on this speaker. Why do you need to spend so much more? Yeah, with the occasional exception, we pretty much get a handful of them a day. anywhere from 2 to 5 every weekday. Saturdays, sometimes 1 or 2 come in, and then Sundays, usually nothing gets delivered. So that's usually my nice little day off from both the day job and the repairs. Goodness, that is stuck on there. Alright, commence the pry. Come on. Give it up. Oh, if I wasn't streaming right now, I'd say much dirtier things. Come on. Yikes. Not gonna be an easy one, are ya? This thing is super glued in place, man. Come on. Give up the beans. Excuse me. Uncalled for. Wow. Apple. What the hell? Are we gonna have to pry this off the table here? This ain't giving up the beans anywhere. Why do they do this to us? Come on. Oh boy. This sucker's on there. Curse you, Apple. This is the most difficulty I've ever had cracking one of these open. You know what? We're busting out the heat. I've had it. I am fed up with you. God grief. This ain't giving it up. This one's really making me work here. We're gonna have to start prying out of pure desperation here. We're gonna pry against the subwoofer screws. We're gonna have to give it every angle we've got. Yes, I think it's giving it up. That was absurd. Unnecessary amount of force. But we got it off. Hard part's over. This woofer out. Voice coil looks great. Feels nice and smooth. And it smells a little funky. Hold on here. Yeah, it smells a little funky, but everything else checks out. It's not the worst subwoofer I've smelled. Let's see here. Let's get our basket, or sorry, our gaskets out. That's interesting right there. Is there something broken in there? Oh. 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 That is just outright stripped. Interesting. We'll get that replaced. Come on. Yeah, this ring here is toast. It's like the screw was put in too tight and they stripped it. Yeah, you can actually see the little dimples under where the screws go. They tightened all these screws too much. Not to worry, we've got plenty of those. got another one of those out that hasn't had the screws over tightened in it. Let's get the power supply. Out you go. Something smells roasty in here. I think it was the subwoofer. Let's get this amp out. And I'm suspecting probably DC offset issues. But we're gonna go ahead and power this board up, connect it to our multimeter, and see what it's got before we do any repairs. Got 3 requests now for no power repair, but normally I always do game consoles. Started doing more Apple because it will help me getting my own repair shop at some point, I hope. Yeah, that makes sense. I remember when I was a kid, the original Xbox, my dad was like really into modding them. We had a clear original Xbox with a mod chip in it that ran a custom dashboard. Was able to copy all of our games off of the discs that we rented and pay a fraction of the price for our games. I'm sure that was very illegal, but I was just a kid and my dad was doing it, so. So we've got a date code on our diode there of 1748K. We're going to go ahead and replace that. Everything else looks alright. Let's see if this has any DC offset. It sounded like sorry, it almost sounded like one of my HomePods stopped playing again. I would have needed to note the time there. Anyways, I'm guessing that we've got DC offset issues here. So I'm expecting to see some. But if we don't find anything to fix, if we don't find any issues and we can't reproduce any issues, then we're not gonna charge them for anything. All right, what do we got here? Well, that booted up fast. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are fast approaching 300 millivolts of DC offset here. DC offset just simply means how far away from 0 volts flat you are. And so whenever you hear me say DC offset, you can basically just, whether it's positive or negative, it's bad either way. We want this number to be as close to 0 as possible. Any number far or away from 0 is what we call DC offset. So we've got our meter set into DC voltage mode right now, and that's connected to our subwoofer. And our subwoofer, of course, is connected to the amplifier. And once the amplifier is powered on, it's supplying power and amplifying even silence, complete silence. That's what an op amp does. So you're going to, in that audio amplifier, you're going to have some inherent DC voltage being introduced and amplified before that's sent to your subwoofer. An acceptable amount, considered by many in the audio industry, is below 50 millivolts. And here we've already seen this grow 10 times that. So this is going to cause more noticeable loud popping as it goes in and out of standby. But more so, this is actually going to put a constant load on the subwoofer speaker and the amplifier. And over time, that can cook your components. That's probably why we smelled that subwoofer. It smelled a little funny there. Looked to be fine still, so it's a good thing that we got to this, and we're going to do these repairs now before that subwoofer was totally taken out. Yeah, that is a noticeable pop. And a lot of DC offset. So, we've got ourselves something to fix here. Sad news for Mars, I guess. They were hoping for something a little more unique here. Based on the description of the symptoms, I was expecting the same. Clay was telling us that it would pop frequently in standby mode, but it would work fine when awake. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to fry itself until it starts clicking for us in standby mode, but everything points towards those filtering capacitors, which is unfortunately a fairly common issue. It's going to be those 4 bad boys right there. If it's not one, it's a few of them that tend to just go out and stop filtering that unwanted DC voltage from our AC audio signal that gets amplified through this circuit. So, we're going to replace those filtering capacitors, and then we're going to replace that diode on the other side to prevent any of the common no power issue from happening here. And then we're going to power this board up again and see if we've got our DC offset under control and within spec again. That should resolve the popping for the most part, and it should prevent their subwoofer from blowing up and death farting on them all the time. How do you like that? All 4 at once. I'd like to see you try that Northridge fix. I'll send you an amp board to do it. Calling you out. I'm just kidding. I look up to you. Please don't shame me. A little bit of flux. Some low temp, low melt solder. Whoa, Mars. Slow down there. 6 capacitors instead of 4? Oh man. That's some big brain shit right there. I don't know if I can think about that. No, so in all seriousness, obviously there's only 4 spots to fit 4 capacitors on here. I would imagine if you want to double that up, you would probably have to do 8 of them. I'm honestly not smart enough to tell you how you would fit 2 more in there without needing to double it completely. And I honestly couldn't tell you if that would even improve anything either. It's possible that only one of them being bad is what it takes to bring all 4 of them down. But maybe somebody smarter out there can tell us. Would we be able to double up on the capacitors here to reduce the risk of too much DC offset getting through the amp? Or is that a nonsensical approach? Oh yeah, for sure, you could easily stack them. My question is can you just simply do 6 instead of 4? Or would you have to double all of them up and do 8 instead of 6, if you were to double them up? That's my question. Not yours. Copyright. Yes, they are in parallel. You are correct, because there's the left channel and the right channel. There we go. Looks beautiful. But yes, these are 2x2 in parallel, and you can confirm that by looking up the schematic sheet for the evaluation board for the PAL Radio IR4312M. They have schematics for an evaluation board that comes with the exact same amp chip as here, and they give you schematics for that evaluation board, and you can check how they've got those in the circuit there. But I'm 99% positive you're correct that it's one or a pair of them for each channel, left and right. Then you would have 3 for each channel. Yeah, that makes it makes sense. I'm nowhere near smart enough to tell you what implications that would have, but I'd be willing to try it. I will say that I've tried. I have tried higher voltage rated capacitors, and that hasn't had any adverse effect. So, I'm also curious how the capacitance stacks up when they're in parallel. Does the capacitance add up or multiply when you put capacitors in parallel, or do you put them in series? And if so, lots of questions that I have around that. Lots of questions that I'm sure a lot of you already have answers for. But that looks smooth and dandy. Let's get the power diode replaced. So you can even, it adds up. So if you don't want to double up your capacitance, but you do want to add additional capacitors to it, you would wire them in you would attach them in parallel, and that wouldn't stack, or it would stack up regardless. I'm not sure. I'm sure what I'm saying probably doesn't even make sense. Old diode begun. Alright, fresh filtering capacitors, new Schottky barrier diode for good measure. Let's cool this board off just real fast and we'll give it a test. Alright, the moment of truth. Did we fix or did we F? I was going to say the bad word. I don't know if people are cool with that or not. Man, that would be a great name for like a series. Is it fixed or is it effed? Foobar. Let's see what she's got. What do we got? Aw, yeah. We still got bass, yeah? Oh, yeah. And we've got a falling offset here. It looks to be approaching around 0. It's probably going to stabilize at a couple of millivolts here, but what's good to see here is that we're far below that 50 millivolt target. And so, with that said, this one should be fixed and ready to rock. Let's just get these parts taken off and put this HomePod back together, and we'll do our last few checks. One other thing I do want to check before I throw this back together is the value or the resistance of this resistor next to the subwoofer connector. Sometimes it blows up, and I just want to double check and make sure that it's still within spec here. 10 ohms, spot on. Beautiful. So it's a good thing that Clay sent their HomePod in here. They got away without any real permanent damage. Saved their subwoofer from having a meltdown. It smells like it was real close to it too. What can the problem be if it's not going below 50 millivolts after replacing the caps? So, to be honest with you, I haven't come across a HomePod with loud popping, death farts, bass issues like that, where it hasn't had too much DC offset, and it's been caused by those capacitors. It's a very specific behavior with a very specific symptom, and there's really only one part that can allow it to happen. So if you want to elaborate on what symptoms exactly you would be referring to, if you're saying that the problem doesn't appear to be DC offset, I might be able to give you a better answer. Or maybe I misinterpreted what you were saying. Were you actually saying you replace the capacitors and you still see more than 50 millivolts of DC offset? Because if that's the case, then most likely you do not have a good connection between the filtering capacitors and your board. Because it is their job to filter that DC voltage, and that's really the only place that I know of where DC voltages can be introduced to the amplifier circuit and then sent to the subwoofer. Ooh. Here we go, one more screw for the amp. Almost forgot that one. Hey, oh, I don't want to say it on stream. Don't want to trigger other people's HomePods. I'll just, I don't like that song. It sounds boring. Sorry if you made that song. I don't feel it. Oh, you were just wondering if there would be a second possible problem. I can't say anything's impossible, really. But I can say, just speaking from experience, every single case of loud popping accompanied with death farts has always been those filtering capacitors giving up. Maybe we'll come across a repair here one day that changes that, but that's what we've been seeing. But it's a pretty, let's just take another quick little close look here. So I mean, you've got your digital to audio converter. It sends that weak analog audio signal through these components before it gets sent to the main amp chip that amplifies that analog AC audio signal. And then it basically goes through a few more components and then to the subwoofer. There's really not a lot of places where you could introduce DC voltage into the amplifier here. It's the job of those capacitors to remove that offset. So if you see DC voltage on the woofer, you can pretty much be guaranteed that the capacitors that are supposed to filter that are not doing their job. They're as close to the subwoofer in the circuit as they can reasonably get. So, and you want to remove that DC offset before you send the audio to the main amp chip, because reasons, I think. I'm not, actually, I'm trying to focus on this, so I can't, not able to split the brain power very well. But basically, from what I gather, it's just best designed to filter it as soon as possible in there. And that appears to be the only place that it's actually filtered to. Get back here. Alright, let's get those, see if we can't get those screws in there. Come on. You bugger. There we go. Yeah. Oh, come on. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you too. Let's go over here. got a trick for these ones that won't go in. We'll worry about those in a minute. And that one, I suppose. Okay, so we're just going to take our T6 and stick that straight through. Give it a little wiggle. And that should, there we go. Same thing with this one and this one. Very nice. All right. This can get stuck back on there. We can pull this mesh back up, cover up those screws. Come on, there we go. That's not sitting how I want it to. There we go. You've just been full of surprises today, haven't you, little HomePod? Alright. Let's stick our top on and we should be all done for the day here. Then I can crank the HomePods back up and see if we can't reproduce the issue that they were asking for from us for a third and final time. Alright. Drum roll, please.
I'm having trouble connecting
Oh,
to the
yeah.
internet. I'm having
We've got everything fixed up on Clay's HomePod here. No more significant popping going in and out of standby. And it's got a new Schottky barrier diode just to keep things going for at least a few more years here. If you guys have any questions about any of the repairs that we do here on the channel, you're welcome to leave a comment down below. I've also got lots of information up on my website, nixfix.com, at the top left there. If you're doing your own repairs or you want to send yours in for repair, feel free to check out the website, go to the common issues section, and check out anything that matches up with your symptoms, or shoot me a message and we'll have it repaired here on stream for you. Hope you all enjoyed watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hopefully we won't need to have the music playing in the background there, and between me and Apple we'll have this this issue that I've been experiencing fixed. So stay tuned for an update on that too. Until then, goodbye! Yeah, what are you still watching for? Pay for your own Apple Music subscription.